All right, welcome to Night and D True Crimes. If you didn't know, United Healthcare CEO was fatally shot this morning in Manhattan. This definitely was a hit. Now, footage has been released of the suspect. The suspect seems to be using like a silencer on the gun, so it definitely was some type of professional hit. But before we go ahead and get into the footage, let's go ahead and get into this report by CNN.
That's Brian Thompson right there, the CEO of United Healthcare. He was shot and killed while outside the Hilton Hotel. Let's get right to CNN's Bryn Gingras with the latest on this. I know the details are just coming in, Bryn, so what are you learning?
Yeah, that's right, John. Of course, this is still unfolding. Investigators there on the scene. But as you just described there, they believe right now this was a targeted attack. Now, let's back up to just a few hours ago this morning in Midtown Manhattan. And for reference, for people who aren't familiar, of course, with New York City, this is really not far from where the tree lighting is expected to occur tonight, in the heart of the theater district in Midtown Manhattan. We're told that Thompson was headed to a conference for United Healthcare that was expected to happen in the ballroom of that hotel, of the Hilton there in Midtown, when there was a gunman who fired shots about 20 feet away from him as he was approaching that hotel. Again, it appears it was a targeted attack. That gunman then, according to sources telling our John Miller, fled through a back alley near a theater, again in the heart of New York City in the theater district, hopped on a bicycle, and that is how that suspect got away. So you can imagine right now, investigators are there on the scene. They're combing that area. They're pulling video of a very popular area of New York City, lots of cameras to pull from to figure out exactly what happened here, where that person fled to. What we understand, though, is that that suspect was actually outside that hotel for quite a bit before Thompson actually approached that hotel. So that is why at this point right now in the investigation, investigators believe this was a targeted attack. But again, a lot of questions here, exactly why Thompson was targeted, who obviously this person is. Was there any help? Again, as I said, we're told through sources that he fled on a bicycle through a back alley. So it doesn't appear like there was anybody else yet involved, but still so many questions. And we know investigators combing the scene of that area as we speak.
Yeah, again, just to reiterate some points that Bryn just made there, we've been told, CNN's John Miller reporting that the gunman had been waiting for Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, to arrive at this conference at the Hilton, which is why they believe this was a targeted attack. As Bryn points out, the Hilton Hotel, right in the middle of all
right, so damn. So he was
walking the action. He was walking particularly in the crisp.
Oh, so he was walking towards the NY Hilton hotel, attending United Healthcare conference. Gunman awaited for arrival, opened fire 20 feet away. He opened fire twice too, hitting him in the chest and hitting him in the leg, which I'm going to go ahead and show that footage now. But before we do that, please hit that like button. Let's go ahead and continue this report.
Christmas season here in New York. So much activity in.
And it makes you think, what the hell is going on that these CEOs are stepping? You got over 1,800 CEOs that's stepping down. You have the CEO of Cash App that was stabbed in the middle of LA, 2 something in the morning. You have this guy, Brian Thompson, murdered in the middle of Manhattan in broad daylight with cameras everywhere. And it seems like it's a war going on at the top. And it seemed like these CEOs are running for their lives. I don't know what the heck is happening, but we definitely will get to the bottom of that. But let's continue.
And around that area. So obviously that is of enormous concern this morning. And then Bryn, this guy got away, or the shooter got away, we think, on a bike. I have to imagine there is not a small manhunt underway right now across this city.
Oh, absolutely. There's a huge manhunt across this city. And also, let's reference the time, John. We're talking again, I keep reinforcing it, but Midtown Manhattan at the height of Thursday morning, a rush hour time, and a gunman firing multiple shots outside this hotel where, as you just said, this is a big tourist area. And as I also mentioned, this is the tree lighting. So there's a lot of security in this area, especially today because of that event that's taking place later tonight. So this is certainly something that is extremely alarming to police.
A lot of these things be coded too. When they do certain things at certain times on certain days. Now they know that lighting they were supposed to have tonight, what that they're still having, but now there's going to be even more heavy security and more law enforcement in that area, based off of this right here. So it seems like that hit was making a statement. It was making some kind of statement. Let's continue.
This could actually happen, and that's going to be probably part of this investigation, is how did it happen. But it does appear it was a targeted attack, and you just said it, John. This is no small manhunt that is going on right now as they search for the suspect who might have fired these shots.
You know what? I'm going to let you take that call, Bryn, because we are getting new information in by the second here. Hopefully, Bryn's got some new reporting for us. Gunned down on the streets of New York this morning. Just context, United Healthcare is the biggest healthcare company in the country. We don't know why Thompson was targeted, but authorities believe it was a targeted attack. The gunman, police tell John Miller, waiting for Thompson to arrive at an event at the Hilton Hotel. And importantly, right now, the gunman's still on the loose. So a manhunt underway in jam-packed, holiday-crazed New York City. Let's bring back Bryn Gingras, who's been reporting on this, for any more information you've been getting, Bryn.
Yeah, that's right, John. Listen, I just got off the phone with sources, and I'm just learning a little bit more details. First of all, we should get a lot more details because we're expecting police to hold a news conference later this morning at about 11:30 or so. So we'll probably hear from the police commissioner. Hopefully by then we'll have a little bit more details on the investigation. As you can imagine, that is very, in high speed at this point right now. What we're also learning, of course, as John Miller was reporting through his sources, is that police are right now polling camera images from all that area. And as I said before, there are a lot of cameras since we're talking about the heart of Manhattan. So there are images that police are going to have of this suspect, not only the video of this person, trying to get away on a bicycle, as we reported, through a back alley behind a theater, but also just images of this actual person. And what I'm learning from sources is that this person was also masked. So it's possible this is going to hinder a little bit of them trying to identify who this person is.
All right, so let me go switch over here. Let's go ahead and get into the footage, because this is the footage of the hit right here. So this guy uses a silencer, basically shoots him from 20 feet away. The gun seemed like it jammed while he was shooting it, and then somehow he got the gun unstuck again, shot him again, then walked up on him, shot him again, and then ran off. This is crazy, yo. Yeah, this definitely was a professional hit. Definitely, because who uses a silencer? You know what I'm saying? First of all, silencers is illegal anyway, so especially in the state of New York. But this guy walks up on this man with a silencer. That means they wasn't trying to make no sound of it at all. Not only that, it's broad daylight, early in the morning. This guy's going to a conference, and the guy comes up from behind him and shoot. And knowing that these cameras is all around, they didn't care. So obviously they was making a statement with this. They knew where he was going to be. Yo, this is crazy, man. I don't know if they're going to catch this guy. It all depends on how he fled and got away. He got away on a bike, but he could have, had a change of clothes, switched up, hopped in a car somewhere. I mean, it kept it moving, because I'm sure you're not going to get far on a bike. After doing something like this, you're not going to get far on a bike. So he probably jumped into another form of transportation. You know what I'm saying? And sped off. Now, this man is probably in another state somewhere by now.
Few minutes that person might have been waiting outside that hotel for about 10 minutes or so. As we said, John was reporting that sources were telling him that we believe he was waiting. It's a targeted attack against that United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. That is one of the theories that investigators are working with right now. So it's possible that person was actually waiting outside that hotel for about 10 minutes or so. Again, this is all preliminary information. This is what we are learning from sources at this point. And of course, they need to firm up their information as this investigation continues. But we will expect some more information, certainly when police have that press conference we're expecting around 11:30 this morning. Those are some new details.
In Midtown Manhattan early this morning, 50-year-old Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was shot and killed in what appears, at this early stage of our investigation, to be a brazen, targeted attack. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. The victim was in New York City to speak at an investor conference. It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind and fired several rounds, striking the victim at least once in the back and at least once in the right calf. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target. The suspect fled, first on foot, then on an e-bike, and was last seen in Central Park on Center Drive early this morning. The victim was removed to Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced. We've been in touch with his family, his friends, and his colleagues, and they are very much in our thoughts and prayers at this hour. The full investigative efforts of the New York City Police Department are well underway, and we will not rest until we identify and apprehend the shooter in this case. The women and men of the NYPD take enormous pride in the work that they do each day and each night to drive down crime and violence in our city. Right now, we are asking the public for your help. If you have any information about this case, call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS. We have increased the reward in this case to $10,000. I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. Millions of people will be enjoying the tree lighting tonight, among other holiday events, and the NYPD will be out there with them, keeping them safe. For some preliminary details about today's tragic incident, I pass it over to our Chief of Detectives, Chief Joe Kenny.
Thank you, Commissioner. The information I'm about to give you is preliminary, as our investigation is continuing. This morning at 6:46 a.m., patrol officers from Midtown North Precinct responded to a 911 call of a person shot in front of the Hilton Hotel located at 1335 Avenue of the Americas. This is between West 53rd Street and West 54th Street. At 6:48 a.m., officers arrive and find the victim, Brian R. Thompson, a 50-year-old male, on the sidewalk in front of the Hilton with gunshot wounds to his back and leg. Mr. Thompson was removed by EMS to Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 7:12 a.m. Mr. Thompson is the CEO of United Healthcare and resides in Minnesota. Detectives from Night Watch, Midtown North Detective Squad, and Manhattan South Homicide responded to the scene and began their investigation. What we know is that the shooter arrived at the location on foot about 5 minutes prior to the victim's arrival. He stands alongside the building line as numerous other people and pedestrians pass him by. From video, we see at 6:44 a.m., the victim is walking alone towards the Hilton after exiting his hotel across the street. We believe the victim was headed to the Hilton Hotel to attend the United Health Group Investors Conference that was scheduled to start at 8 a.m. The shooter appears to be a light-skinned male. He's wearing a light brown or cream-colored jacket, a black face mask, black and white sneakers, and a very distinctive gray backpack. The shooter steps onto the sidewalk from behind the car. He ignores numerous other pedestrians, approaches the victim from behind, and shoots him in the back. The shooter then walks toward the victim and continues to shoot. It appears that the gun malfunctions as he clears the jam and begins to fire again. The shooter then flees on foot northbound into an alleyway between 54th Street and 55th Street. Once at West 55th Street, the shooter continues to walk westbound on Avenue of the Americas, where he gets onto an electric e-city bike and rides northbound on the Avenue of Americas towards Central Park, where at 6:48 a.m. we have the shooter riding this bike into Central Park at Center Drive. At the scene, we recover 3 live 9mm rounds and 3 discharged 9mm shell casings. The motive for this murder currently is unknown, but based on the evidence we have so far, it does appear that the victim was specifically targeted, but at this point we do not know why. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. We are seeking information from the public to help identify the shooter. As the Commissioner said, we have upped the reward up to $10,000 for information. You're urged to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. All information will be kept anonymous. Thank you very much.
All right, well, we're going to open up to a couple of questions. We're going to start off with Shimon, CNN.
So it's about an hour and 20 minutes before the start of the conference. Is there any indication that he was going to meet someone? Because it's pretty early. Is he on his way to meet someone there at the conference?
He leaves the hotel dressed like he's going to be attending the conference. We're working with his co-workers and other people that he planned on attending the conference with to get that information. But as of right now, he's in charge of the conference, so we believe he was getting there to help set up.
Just the city bike, if I may. Do you know where that city bike is now? Does he dock it or does he keep riding it?
We're still tracking video. The last we see with him on that bike is in Central Park.
Is there a way to track that bike?
There are GPSs on those bikes. We'll be working with the company.
All right, we're going to move over with NJ Burkett.
Chief, were any words exchanged? If so, what were the words? I'm told the cell phone was recovered in the alleyway on his escape. Does that appear to be connected?
We're working through that cell phone. Obviously, we'll be processing it forensically. And as far as words being exchanged, we do not have audio of the incident. We only have the regular video. Nothing for, well, there was one witness standing right next to the victim when he was shot. We're still trying to identify that victim. Excuse me, that witness.
We're going to go over to Aaron Katursky.
Thank you. Chief, was he checked into the hotel across the street alone? Was he in the city alone? Was he accompanied by anybody? Did he have any known enemies or anyone that you've been able to find so far?
Like I said, we're reaching out to law enforcement in Minnesota, and we're also interviewing his co-workers and family members to see if there have been any specific threats against him in the past. As far as who was he in the hotel with, we're doing a search warrant in his hotel room right now. That might lead us, give us some more information.
All right, we're going to go over to Dean Moses.
Based on the surveillance we've seen of this individual, do you feel like he's professional? You mentioned that he's the bullet style. Do you feel like he was a professional individual who took that bike? And also, will it affect you in any way through that tonight?
I'll answer the part about whether or not he's a professional. That we have no way of knowing that. From watching the video, it does seem that he's proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly. But as far as the tree lighting, I'll leave that to Chief Magic.
Yes. Good morning, Dean. Just really quick, this incident will not affect the tree lighting. The tree lighting is slated to start at 7 p.m. The show, the actual lighting of the tree will be close to 10 o'clock, actually 9:55 p.m. We will have a massive police presence out there around Rockefeller Center from 52nd Street all the way down to 47th Street. We will have plainclothes out there, a plainclothes detail out there. We will have our CRC assets, our strategic response group assets. We will have our intel division out there. A lot of assets out there to make sure people can come out and have a good time. And we're going to have additional police officers in the subways as well, so people can take mass transit to make it easier to travel into the city and enjoy the tree. This is a terrible event, but we're going to go on, and people are going to enjoy the tree lighting tonight.
All right, we're going to move on to Marsha Kramer.
I wonder if you could tell me, the mayor said that there was evidence recovered at the scene that would indicate that this was not a random event. I wonder if you could tell me what that evidence was. And by looking at the gun, it appears that there's a silencer on the gun. Was there a silencer on the gun, and does this indicate not only that it was premeditated, but this is somebody who knew his way around guns and might have been a professional?
Once again, we won't know that until we complete our investigation and identify the shooter or recover that firearm. You see a glimpse of the gun in video, so we're not able to make a determination on whether or not a silencer was used on that quick glimpse of video. We can't tell from that little glimpse of video. I'm not going to commit to saying that at this time. That would be part of our investigation. There's a cell phone recovered in the alleyway, and once again, we will process that forensically and see if it comes back to this shooting. Once again, this investigation is less than 5 hours old. That will be part of our investigation.
All right, we're going to move on to Joe Marino, New York Post.
As of right now, based on the current video that we do have, it doesn't appear that they crossed paths, and he arrived in New York on Monday.
All right, we're gonna take 2 or 3 more. We're gonna go Rocco, Daily News.
Chief, did he typically travel with a security detail? And even though it's early, is there anything to indicate that there had been issues with, let's say, a patient who was denied coverage, either back in Minnesota or more recently, someone who lives here?
From speaking to other employees that traveled with him to New York, it doesn't seem that he had a security detail. He left the hotel by himself, was walking, didn't seem like he had any issues at all. So I don't think he did not have a security detail.
As far as denied coverage, I know that's typically an issue with these major companies. Any reason to believe he had been the subject of a threat?
Once again, we're looking at everything. We're looking at his social media. We are interviewing employees. We are interviewing family members. We will be speaking to law enforcement in Minnesota.
We're gonna do 2 more before we wrap up. Shayna?
Oh, sorry, I was just going to ask if any cursory look at any social media, whether it's the company, whether it's his personal social media, his family's, is there anything obvious that sticks out at this early stage in the investigation?
We have not uncovered anything at this time. The investigation is still too early.
We're going to go last question over here with Jake.
How's it going? With the suspect still at large, last seen in Central Park, are you urging New Yorkers to avoid the park? Is the NYPD deploying its drones? I know they recently started doing that in the park. And then also I was wondering, is there any indication when he gets this city bike that he's a city bike member? It's like sometimes if you're not a member, you can pay to use it. I don't know if you're able to tell on surveillance.
The chief of detectives will answer the part about the city bike. But in terms of we're encouraging New Yorkers to go about their daily lives and their daily business, but to be alert. We put the picture out. You're putting the picture out. We want people to take a look. If they see anything suspicious, if they hear anything suspicious, we ask them to call 911, reach out to our detectives. With an incident like this, of course, we put a heavy deployment into Manhattan. We put additional resources out. We have the drones up. We have aviation out. We have K-9 out. When an incident like this happens, we don't spare any expense. We put all of our resources out there to support the chief of detectives' mission and to keep New Yorkers safe. So we will have a massive presence out there around the tree lighting, but throughout Manhattan as well until more information develops and we're able to support the chief of detectives and what he needs to make a quick arrest.
As far as where he got the city bike, we're still working that through. Like I said, we're pulling video from numerous locations, numerous sources, and we have him on our timeline walking, and what we're very fortunate is he has that very distinctive gray backpack on. So we see him on one video clip walking, and then another source of video, him riding that bike. So we don't have video or witness confirmation on how he obtained that bike.
Do you have neurological pain, chest pain, heart palpitations, headaches, brain fog, anxiety, insomnia, fatigue, and abdominal discomfort? With all the environmental disasters and contaminants plaguing our land, water, air, and food, we need something to counteract all the pollution that is making us sick. This is where zeolite comes to the rescue. Millions of people have been using detoxification supplements to remove harmful toxins, pollutants, heavy toxic metals, as well as to balance pH levels, lower the risk of risks like cold and flu, support the immune system, and improve nutrient absorption. What is zeolite? Zeolite is a volcanic ash that forms over time when ash and lava react with alkalized water, resulting in a compound with a very strong cage-like structure and a negative charge. Zeolite is one of the most fascinating and powerful nature remedies available. Great to detox and balance your body. Health benefits of detoxing. The removal of excess heavy metals can improve overall health. Detoxification helps balance a body's pH levels. This product provides 30 capsules, 1 month supply, ships within 3 days. Purchase now at Night and Day, netmarket.com, and haven't been evaluated by the FDA. We do not claim our product cure or treat any ailments. Please consult with your medical health care provider to see if ZeoAid will be right for you.